I'm funny.
Don your very own suit of armor, all my fellow and feature outlaws, as this is Cards Games vs. Humanity, and I am that NAKAK Double G. Back with the weekly recap of that show that has an extremely bad habit of taking up the first half of the show with nothing but flashbacks and filler, Duel Monsters. So as per usual, don't forget that sub and that bell, that like, support the Patreon below if you'd like to see more content, and leave a comment telling me if you remember how many times they say the word probe in all of these episodes. These episodes that begin with Yugi standing at the gate of the dueling arena, contemplating everything he's fighting for and all his grandfather taught him. And naturally, because we're about 30 seconds into the episode, we're about 5 seconds due for a flashback. But not just any flashback, this time it's a brand new flashback.
I should know. I've collected the best cards in the game.
Bitch, you put Horned Imp in your deck. Horned fucking Imp. How did that line even make it past censors? For some reason, Yugi's surprised when he finds his friends on the other side of the gate in support of him. Although Croquet did say only duelists are allowed in this like crappy little dueling bench arena down there, so I mean, they can't even follow those rules.
And now, for your dueling pleasure.
Oh god, Croquet's been around Pegasus for so long that even he is starting to describe anything dueling related in a gross and creepy fashion. Pegasus talks to himself as he stares deep into the eyes of Yugi, showing off all his most powerful monsters surrounding him. And like Summon Skull, Gaia, and Dark Magician I get, but what the hell is Giant Soldier of Stone doing so high up there? Did he just really love attacking the moon, I guess? Pegasus congratulates Yugi for making his way to the finals. Yugi responds in the only way he knows how.
Pegasus! Before we begin this duel, I want you to agree to keep your promise.
Pegasus! Will you please keep your promise, pretty please? Yugi demands that if he wins this duel, he will release both the Kaiba brothers and his grandfather. Something that surprises Pegasus because he thought he hated Kaiba as much as he hated him. Yugi doesn't deny it whatsoever, saying that he just needs to keep a vow to a friend, aka I know I'm gonna get paid handsomely after I'm done. The gang heads up to the balcony, convinced that Pegasus is up to something. I'm not really sure what could have tipped them off though, with all the, soul stealing, kidnapping, and disregard for his own tournament rules. Tristan has to poop very badly. I mean, he has to go fight Mokuba, so Pegasus doesn't hold all the cards. Definitely not overlooking the fact that having the body without the soul part of it doesn't really give you much more of an advantage, does it?
A search for their empty vessels. Not a bad idea.
If Bakura really wanted a soulless vessel, all he has to do is go to the White House. Croquet once again demands Yugi's entry card because, if he didn't have it anymore for some reason, they wouldn't be able to do the duel. I guess he'd just have to go home and it's just over. I mean, what else do you expect? What are you gonna do? Explaining to Yugi that if he does defeat Pegasus, he can ask for anything. CEO of my vaguely established company? Sure. Do you want my Millennium Eye? Why not? Do you want this shitty island that I secretly stole from Mr. Beast? It's yours. We're only 9 minutes into this episode where no actual dueling has happened yet, as Pegasus explains why this card is blank, saying that it's for the soul of Yugi after he wins the duel, and definitely not just an old sample card out of an old booster box he found the other day.
That's our Yugi. He'd do anything for anybody.
You might want to ask Panic about that. Oh wait, you can't. Because he's dead. Maximilian explains that if he defeats Yugi, he'll become the sole owner of Kaiba Corp, a plot point that's had maybe 15 seconds of explanation before two strippers come down on a pole in the middle of the dueling arena. Pegasus has to say, not now boys, I haven't won yet, before having them cover it up as the ones to help the duelists cut their deck. To which Pegasus gives Yugi's deck the touch of death, officially not following his own rules and being DQ'd from the match. Back to Tristan, who is lurking in this dungeon with no idea where he's going, almost like this was a bad idea or something. Nearly getting caught before frame skipping once again into the suit of armor he found to hide from the guard. Somehow making absolutely no noise whatsoever in the process. Like, either they're just terrible or it's Tristan, man. What do we do?
Strange.
Naturally, as an avid Zelda player, Tristan is not fooled by this hidden door that he basically just heard the guards talk about anyways as they were switching shifts to cover Mokuba. We head back to the duel where Yugi begins with a humble T-set and pass, exposing his beaver that Pegasus already sniffed out when he read the top of his deck. You knew he saw his first 5 cards and he's just like, yeah, that's fine. Also setting a back row and summoning the red archery girl in defense mode, a move that confuses Yugi by being almost the exact same thing he did. Anyone gonna tell me why out of all the sound effects on the planet, a clam sounds like a spaceship door opening on a GameCube game? Pegasus monologues about what Yugi is going to do next, so naturally Yugi follows the plot by doing just that, flipping the beaver into attack mode and combining it with a horn of a unicorn. What he didn't expect, and well, probably should at this point, is that Pegasus has a very specific trap that doesn't really exist to counter it. Tears of a Mermaid, which negates the horn of the unicorn, I guess. They never really make it that clear, allowing Pegasus to cheat and switch his red archery girl to attack mode during the damage step and destroy the beaver for a whopping 200 damage. Yugi is blown away by this move. The gang is mostly just blown away by how long it's taking Tristan to take a shit. After 34 episodes and about 848,000 examples, Yugi finally believes that the Millennium Eye is for real and he is shaken to his core.
You know my mind-reading abilities give me an unbeatable advantage.
That poor bastard. He was so scared his nose didn't move the entire time. Back to Tristan, who's done some farming and has some decent equipment now. Attacks the extremely bored basic grunt with a second helmet that he definitely wasn't holding about 5 seconds ago, knocking him out with that beautiful fake violence that we're not allowed to show you, but believe me, It definitely happened. Tristan finds Mokuba and...
Mokuba?
See, this scene tries to make you think that Mokuba's soul was actually stolen, but that's actually the catatonic state he went into after Pegasus tried giving him a hug. Either that or he watched the chapter black tape, I don't know. Somehow Bakura's Millennium ring doubles as a CB radio, allowing him to tap into Croquet's phone call. He starts to listen in about how Mokuba has been missing, making sure the audience knows about 80% of this episode will not be about dueling. Oh yeah, that duel that's currently happening? Yugi has a face-down monster. He does. Yeah, I think. But don't pay any attention to that, because Pegasus says this is the moment we've all been waiting for, summoning Ryu Ren in defense mode and ending his turn. Is that it?
I'll scramble your egg.
I mean, if you're taking orders, I prefer a sausage, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich, but I don't want to interrupt you during your duel, bro. The episode ends with Pegasus playing more mind games, listing off the cards in Yugi's hand. The Celtic Guardian, the Spellbinding Circle, Magical Hats, and Horned Imp. Horned fucking Imp. Well, that's it for this episode. I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget that sub and that bell, that like, and leave a comment telling me if you'd like Yugi to make you some breakfast food while you're in the middle of a duel. Tune in next week where we get nearly 50% of the episode containing the actual duel going on. I know, that's just way too much. And of course, a shout out to all my patrons. We recently hit that 300 sub mark, and you know I gotta spoil you all with a nice opening here soon. It's coming, don't worry. I got one special for you. This has been the Man for Earth with all the girls, ladies and gentlemen. I think YouTube's actually starting to care. Shit's been growing a little bit. Let's keep it up. See y'all on Wednesday. Later. Yugi doesn't deny it whatsoever, saying that he just needs to keep a vow to a friend, aka he knows, aka Tears of a Mermaid. Knocking him out with that beautiful fake violence that we're not allowed to show you, but attacks the extremely bored, listening in on how Mokuba has been kept, listening in how about, Jesus Christ.